Alright, hey guys, remember it's TCG back with new videos. With this video, I'm doing a Cyber Dragon test hand. If you guys want to check out the Cyber Dragon deck profile, the deck I'm using for this test hand, it's going to be in the top right corner. And yeah, I'm just going to show you guys a few test hands just to show you what you can kind of do and like what the range of the hands can be with this deck. So as you can see here, this with this hand, if you're going first, there isn't too much that you can use. There's only the hurts and the machine duplication because the hurts only has its effect can only be used once. You can only use one of those effects as well. So that means that this hurts is kind of dead, and that there's these three cards you're not really going to be able to use. And so it's just going to be hurts and machine duplication, but that's still enough to do something. So here I'm going to be able to use normal summon my hurts, and then use machine duplication. So as I said in the deck profile video, hurts is also just a valid target. For machine duplication, obviously Cyber Dragon Core is a better target just because you're able to search out a cyber emergency or whatever cyber card you need. But this still works, so you can use machine duplication here, and then use this to pop out the two cyber dragons. So from here you can exceed it to the Nova. So now I get rid of hurts here by linking it away to get anima. So if your opponent, let's say you were going second, then if this was a second hand, it would be different because obviously you draw a card. But anima would be a great target here, as anima just if they planted anything on these two zones, so you're gonna be able to take that. So that's great. But yeah, usually you're just gonna want to use anima or Almirage just to dump this card to the grave, so that way you have a Cyber Dragon card in the grave. So because this card is recognized as Cyber Dragon as well as in the field of grave, so now you have a target for Nova. So now obviously use Hurt's effects to get the Cyber Dragon, and then you can use Nova's effect because you have a target. And then now when you detach the Cyber Dragon as a material, you can just bring back that Cyber Dragon that you detached. The only thing is you do need a target, so that's why you want to do that. Yeah. And then here you go into Infinity, and that's gonna pretty much be it for this board. So Infinity, you do have an Omnigate. And then with the anima, you do have if your opponent had placed anything here, that would have been a great way. If they had machines, the Cyber Dragon here would have been potentially a great way to get rid of something like that. But yeah, and you still have the Ash Blossom here, evenly matched. Let's say they get rid of everything on this board and you have no board left, then you can use evenly matched during your opponent's turn, during the end of the battle phase, in order to just balance it out so they only have one card. So it's a great way to just remove everything that they have, and you still have potential plays as you still have a Cyber Dragon here and you still have a Hurts, so you can still do something the following turn. But yeah, that's it for the first test hand. It isn't like the greatest hand you can get, but you can see that you can still get into Infinity just because Machine Duplication is a really great card, and you still have ways to deal with your opponent's cards even if they get through Infinity and your anima that would have removed something on their side. Well, let's go to the second hand now. Okay, so this is the second hand. So for the second hand, you can see that we can't use the two imperms and we can't use the Called by the Grave. So the only thing we have is the Cyber Dragon Core and the Machine Duplication. It's kind of similar to the other hand where we had cards that weren't really too useful to use, but obviously these are going to be powerful during your opponent's turn. So now let's see, so here we're going to normal summon the core, of course. Now with the core, we're going to able to search out a cyber card. So usually you're going to want to get your cyber emergency, and then use the machine dupe to get out the two cyber dragons out here. And then you can use the cyber emergency here. You can get what you need, but I decided that for this test hand that it'd be great just to have a cyber dragon core, just so I have plays for next turn. Since cyber dragon core is able to search out another cyber card, so I decided to just go for that. And then exceed those two to go for Nova. Same thing here as I did in the previous hand, except this time I went for Almirage. So you need core in the grave just so you have a cyber dragon in your grave to target with the Nova. So use Nova there to get the cyber dragon out. Then here you can go into Infinity, and then with that you're going to be able to use the two imperms here. So depending on, you can try to just see like what columns you want to block out from your opponent's side, and these two are usually the ones that I see people play with the most. So I kind of put this here because this just gives you a chance to get more potential value out of your imperms, and yeah, it can make them a lot more powerful that way. Caught by the Grave, of course, if they're going to be using cards, monsters in the grave, that's another form of disruption. If they're going to use something to just try to destroy all your monsters or force you to use Infinity, then you can use this in order to target one monster you control. It cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So you can use this to protect your Infinity if you choose to do so. And yeah, this is great. And you also have the Cyber Dragon core in order to have a play for the next turn. So as you can see, like there weren't that many cards that you were able to use, but it was enough where you can still get an infinity out and you still have some form of protection through these cards. And now let's go to the third hand. Alright guys, before we get started with the third hand, if you guys want to help support the channel, want to buy some cards, there's a link in the description down below. It takes you to TCG player and it helps out the channel quite a bit. And yeah, so you can see with this hand actually has less hand traps, or actually no hand traps, and it gives you more potential plays for us to do here. So here you're going to usually go with the Cyber Dragon core, use core here to search out. Since I already have my Cyber Emergency, I chose to go for the Cyber Dark Realm so that I have my so that I can I'm able to get my Power Bomb out here. So now I use Machine Dupe in order to get my 2 Cyber Dragons out. Then I can use my Cyber Dark Realm in order to get the Cyber Dark Chimera. Use Cyber Dark Realm in order to normal summon the Chimera. Then I use my Emergency in order to get Cyber Dragon here to my hand. So this is just so I have more fusion material for the Power Bond. And then here I use Cyber Dark Realm to ditch the Rev System to get my Power Bond. Then I use my Power Bond here to fuse away my Cyber Dragon and my core in order to get my Chimera Take Rampage Dragon. And now I exceed my 2 Cyber Dragons in order to get my Nova. And since I do have a Cyber Dragon target, I can use this to bring back a Cyber Dragon. And now I can go into my Infinity. And then I can get rid of my Cyber Dark with the Cyber Dragon in order to get my Seeger here. So this is a great way to just be able to protect one of my monsters. And use this in order to pitch 2 cards. So here, Hertz's effect lets me add a Cyber Dragon card from my grave or my deck onto my hand. So I use this opportunity to bring core back to my hand so that I do have a potential play for next turn in case they do get rid of this board. But this is typically if you're going second, you know, if you're going to want to be able to pop some spells and traps and also attack for a few times. So usually this is going to be for game, if that's, you know, the idea. Obviously you're going to have to see like what changes, but I wanted to show a hand where you actually fuse. That's why I think a duel might be another way of just showing you guys like how the potential of this deck. So if you guys want to see that, make sure to also let me know. And yeah, and here I set the Cybernetic Overflow. So I backed it up a little bit just to kind of show you guys. So the thing with Cybernetic Overflow here is that it requires, you know, different levels to be to banish in order to pop different amount of cards on the field. So usually you're gonna want to have a core, you know, Cyber Dragon in the grave just so that these two are 2 different levels, and then have a Nasher or Hertz. So you have 1, 2, and 5. So you're able to pop 3 cards. So that's the great thing about Chimera Take Rampage Dragon is that you can use this, put whatever you need into the grave. So that's the only thing I would have changed here. It's just instead of sending the Nasher here, I would have just changed it into sending a core. Just because if you send core here, since I do add this core from my grave to my hand, it would be better to have instead of the Nasher here, have the core, so that you're able to have a 1, 2, and a 5, and that'll give you 3 potential destructions. But yeah, so 3 destructions, and then here is a form of protection, and then Infinity is an omni-negate. But yeah, that's to show you guys the potential plays you can do with this deck. Obviously, it kind of depends on like what your opponent's board is and the way you choose to removing it, because you're usually going to fusion summon if you're going second, and it's a little harder to show that with test hands. But yeah, Rampage Dragon is great as a form of removal. It destroys spells and traps, and it lets you fill up your grave, and it can attack more times because of that. You know, Hertz is also milling the Hertz. Lets you search out a Cyber Dragon, so it's a really great card to have in there. But yeah guys, there's different ways to play Cyber Dragon. There's a Cyber Dragon Therian build. If you guys want to see that as well, let me know. But if you guys enjoyed the video and want to support the channel, of course use the link in the description down below. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.